Proud moment seeing my son lead his new dog through the woods.
Alright.
We got best buddies already.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Loco and I have such a good relationship. I don't talk about that dog enough, but it's like he just understands what it is I want from him without me really having to do much in regard to training. So I come up to my line and I just have to put my hand up, and the dog basically knows that I don't want him to leave. So the test tonight is just to see if I can work and move brush around out here without these guys leaving the pasture that the pigs are on. We're several hours later, and Hefty over there has barely moved off of his mound. He goes around and explores a little bit, but hasn't left the pasture. Neither is Loco though either. And just a chance that he got to bond with the pigs tonight for a few hours and got to know where his limits are, his boundaries. Training's ongoing. You might see the dogs back here in the pasture. I've got to train one dog, I may as well train two, so I've got my 12-year-old Belgian Malinois participating as well. And it's just to tighten things up a little bit in our regular routine, where ordinarily I give Loco now a lot of freedom. I really don't have to say much to that dog. In order to train this younger dog, I'm going to have to be very consistent in how I do things. So in a moment, I'm going to make sure that the dogs know that they're supposed to be in the pasture. I'm then going to leave again for a minute, go out of sight. I'll come back a minute later. I'm then going to pick them up and over the fence and set them down outside of it, and then we're going to take our walk tonight. Now, while they're in the pasture, I want the dogs to have freedom. I think that's important for dogs. The only dogs I tend to see abuse freedom are ones that aren't granted enough of it. So when I put my dogs out to pasture, provided they stay within those lines, I let them now be independent and do what they want. Also, you'll see after we get through our walk in the trail tonight and we get to our river, I'm going to give them another chance to just play and be free out at the river. So if I put them in a sit and then I want to just release them, I'll simply say free, and that tells the dog he can now do what he wants to do. I've got Loco here in the corner. He's really tuned into me and he's watching for me all the time. The other dog, he's coming now, but I like to see that he's more looking at the pigs and not focused on me personally. Good boys, they're both doing great. Good puppies. Okay, so I walked away for maybe 30 seconds or so out of sight and just came back, and Hefty's off on his own, running around through the pasture, which is great. Loco, again, he's right attuned to me. I don't think I'd ever be safe leaving Loco out here for that reason. I just don't think he'd be apt to want to stay. But Hefty being a livestock guardian breed, it seems like he takes a little more naturally to wanting to just stay in his area and not necessarily follow me. Hefty, come! Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Hefty, sit. Hey fellas, hey, stop. Follow. Good. Stop. Good boys. Good. Good. Hefty. Follow. Stop. Sit. Good boy. Good. So this is what our walk usually comprises of. A lot of following, stopping, sitting, following again. I try to keep it fairly regimented, and then at a certain point I'll give the FREE command and I'll let them go have fun. Aside from that, I bring my wheelbarrow along just so they get used to following me while I do my chores, and used to my leadership, used to noises around the area so that they don't get spooked. We're going to resume our walk and down to the river. We'll take a little footage down there when I let them loose to play. Good boys. Good boy, Loco. Come here, Hefty. Yeah, good boy. Looking up at that guy, aren't you? Okay, so here's the first big test. I'm about to do 15 minutes of work down in my gravel pit. And I'm just going to leave these guys here and see how it goes. Purposely didn't make much of a fuss as I'm leaving. I think they're going to stay put. We'll see. Hefty, come! Good boy! Good boy! Good. You did great. All right, boys. Took about 10 minutes for Loco to break. And I think when I left here, he was there at the corner, fixated on me, and eventually he hopped that fence and came after me. The other dog here, though, Hefty, he stayed and manned his post. So that's a great sign. I'm going to try it again, see how many minutes I get away. Good boys. Good, you guys. Good boy, Hefty. Good boy, Loco. I had to change the camera angle so you could see him posted here at the corner. But Loco, of course, doesn't move from here, the nearest spot to where he figures I am, and probably wanting to jump this thing and run after me. This guy here seems much more relaxed, just kind of moving along through the pasture on his own. Both stayed within the pasture fence. Great sign. I'm just going to continue working at this. This was 10 minutes tonight. First time Loco broke, second time both dogs stayed. For training tonight, we came here, I carried them over the fence into the pasture so that they're not used to jumping it. We walked the perimeter around so that they got used to their boundary. I then go about some tasks in there and allow the dogs free time so that they can run around, and when they're not so focused on me, I casually leave. I don't look back, I just leave with confidence. I'll give them maybe the stop sign, which is a natural barrier, and they seem to understand. And then I left for 10 minutes, and I came back, and if they're out roaming around, I'll call them to me and praise them really well. Those are a couple things we've been trying so far with some good success.